What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Vigilante, and listen, I got a question for y'all. Are we really brothers and sisters, or are we not? To all my African people out there, in any diaspora, no matter where you live, if you have melanated skin, my question to you is, are we brothers and sisters, or are we not? The reason I'm asking this question is because we just had a tragedy happen. A huge hurricane just swept Jamaica. Jamaica is known as one of the most economically poorest countries in the entire world. Yet every other place in the world is aware of Jamaica. There's 54 countries on the continent of Africa, and out of those 54, people maybe only know 10, maybe 15 tops, which means that Jamaica has carved a name for itself. If you don't know, I'm going to give you guys a history lesson on how Jamaica became what it is today. And I'm going to insert it right here.
The indigenous people of Jamaica were the Taino. Christopher Columbus reached Jamaica in 1494 during his second voyage and was the first European to land there. He initially sighted the island on May 3, 1494, and made landfall on May 5th, claiming it for Spain and naming it Santiago. Africans were brought to Jamaica primarily through the transatlantic slave trade, a brutal system where they were forced onto British slave ships and sold into labor on sugar plantations. The Spanish first brought some enslaved Africans in the early 1500s, but the practice expanded significantly after the British captured the island in 1655 and established large-scale sugar cultivation. England took Jamaica from Spain in 1655 through a military invasion led by Oliver Cromwell as part of his Western design. Although the initial English assault on Hispaniola failed, the forces redirected to Jamaica and encountered little resistance from the Spanish settlers. The Spanish formally ceded the island to England in the Treaty of Madrid in 1670, and it remained a British colony until 1962. Slavery was officially abolished in Jamaica on August 1, 1838, when all remaining enslaved people were granted full freedom after the completion of a 4-year apprenticeship period that began in 1834. Although the Slavery Abolition Act 1833 had abolished slavery throughout the British Empire in 1834, the system was not immediately fully ended for many in Jamaica. Jamaica gained its independence on August 6, 1962, from British rule. The country became a sovereign nation with dominion status within the British Commonwealth on this date. Jamaica was the first English-speaking Caribbean country to gain independence from Britain. Jamaicans are always welcome back home on the continent of Africa, the motherland.
Now that you've had the opportunity to see that about Jamaica, what I want you guys to understand is that this was a golden opportunity for Haiti and the other 54 countries in Africa to offer refuge to people that they knew were going to be victims of the hurricane in Jamaica. Everybody across the world had weeks to prepare to aid Jamaica, and all they did was fly out cameras and show news coverage. We saw what George Bush did when it came to Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. So we are fully aware that George Bush and the rest of the American politicians don't give a damn about Jamaica or about anywhere that is predominantly African American or African. So it is up to us to save each other. I am extremely disappointed in my other African brothers and sisters and their country in the way that they handled this situation. Because there are people in Jamaica who didn't even get the opportunity to leave, so they had to weather the storm literally and still have to rebuild the pieces by themselves. They feel alone, even though they have 54 countries plus Haiti that they can call on to get help, and nobody is extending a hand to them. Shame on you. Knowing that they had no part in what happened when it came to their people in the transatlantic slave trade being taken down to what we now know as the Dominican Republic and Jamaica. It's not cool. And it's not fair. And it's not right. If we want to rebuild and we want to have the Mali Empire all over again, the Yoruba Igbo Empire all over again, if we want the Egyptian Pharaoh, if we want those empires all over again, we have to work together in order to get those empires again. But my question would be, why? Why haven't you guys extended a hand in aid to help your brothers and sisters? Why? Why is it that the only time that you guys are interested in us coming back is when it has to do with our tourism dollars? Why are you guys not sensitive to the transatlantic slave trade? Why don't you guys care that you guys are not the only poor countries in the world and that we can only become rich countries if we help each other? Africa has over 2 billion people on the continent, while America only has 300 million. Out of those 300 million, 10 to 12% of those are African people. So they're not even going to fight on the side of America. And the other diasporas, they ain't even cut like that to even compete with Africans in anything. We dominate everything: sports, music, news, pop culture, acting, entertainment, flashy lifestyle, everything. We dominate everything. But yet we can't extend a hand out for our brothers and sisters who need us desperately as a hurricane tears away their entire country. Shame on y'all. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to position myself correctly in the countries that I plan on going to, but my plan is for something like this to never, ever, ever, ever be able to happen again. I love my brothers and sisters too much for us to be in a situation where I know that somebody that I call a brother or a sister is going to suffer and I do nothing about it. That's never going to happen. So I'm putting this out as a timestamp for you guys to remember that in November of 2025, Vigilante said enough is enough. We're never doing this ever again where we watch our brothers and sisters suffer. You guys always have a hand, and I am always going to be a part of that helping hand that you guys have for you to be able to take refuge, whether it's Haiti, if this would have been happening to Sierra Leone, if it was Nigeria, if it was Togo, if it was Ethiopia, if it was Egypt, anywhere. You come where I'm at because we have refuge for you. Africa, I don't even know if you understand how huge this is. You guys have so much virgin and undeveloped land, and it's so beautiful. And you have the opportunity to have people who look just like you, act just like you, come just from where you come from, to come back to the continent. We could have turned a nasty situation, a nasty hurricane, into the opportunity of return. Jamaica's return to Africa, and you would have been a part of that. But instead of it being that, you watched your brothers and sisters suffer and you did nothing. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Never again. Jamaica, I love you. I love everybody there. I look just like everybody there. You guys always have my support. Anything that you guys need within my help, just let me know. When I go to Sierra Leone, it'll be the same way. I'm planning on talking to the government there. Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Nigeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Botswana, Angola. I can keep going. I plan on helping you guys. But it's bigger than me. Just know that you guys always got my support. I love you guys. I appreciate what you guys bring to the culture. And let's stick together through anything that we go through.